Oh, fuck, I'm late. Shit, I had it open so I wasn't late, but I'm late anyways. Damn it. Oh well. Everyone, welcome back to another Morgan Monday Friday. We're gonna get duplicitous. There's gonna be some duplicity. We're gonna be conniving, I guess is a word I could use. Where the hell are we? I literally forget. I think we were sent off to go talk to somebody else. We're doing our own independent investigation. Oh no, we went back into the murder scene, right. Seems like the smell's starting to fade. Barely even the memory of blood, now that so many of feet have trodden through here. Nothing lasts forever. Miss Hahn? What? No, I already called you this morning. No, they're not. No, they're not. You're being paranoid. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'll call you tonight. Bye. Didn't mean to interrupt another lover's quarrel. What? Oh, no, that was... Dementia meds aren't working. They get confused this time of day. I should have put on a different voice, I guess. Sorry. Forget it. That's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna turn my phone off for a minute and forget. Cute android, by the way. So what's up? There's a couple ways of going about this, but none of them are surefire. Might as well start out big and see if there's anything to this theory. Do the Blue Bloods use silent alarms? Yeah, of course. Thank you for telling us. Sure. I'm actually gonna need a bit more than that, Miss Hahn. It's just Hahn. Did Creek have a silent alarm? She's hesitating all of a sudden. Is she unsure of the answer, or did she just give her first answer without thinking about where it would lead? Nothing like that installed in the building. Arx would have chewed it up and spat it out by now. The Arx is not flawless. It can miss things. Look, you've seen the level of tech we Blue Bloods have. It's secure, but it ain't subtle. True. An Orca-run security firm wouldn't have quite as much luck hiding our subsystems from the police as David Assure did, Sarah. But the Arcs can miss things that aren't tech at all. A silent alarm that's... analog? Let me know if you figured that one out. Either an alarm is analog and loud, or digital and silent. They don't mix. She's defensive, but her logic is sound. Approaching it from the other angle, then... How could an analog silent alarm possibly function? A literal alarm, but one that can't be heard under normal circumstances. What a horrible smell in here. Like a dog whistle. You once bragged to me about your sense of smell. I don't think I was bragging. Could have sworn you puffed your chest out at the time. Doesn't matter. If I asked you to sniff something out, could you find it? What would you like me to look for? I still don't have a clear picture of what happened after I left, but there's one thing I know should be here that hasn't turned up once yet. Right. I'm the only one who knows about the knife. And while I don't know where it went, I do know it had plenty of blood on it when I last saw it. I want you to smell for blood. Adonai, do you really need me to help you find blood in here? I'm not asking you to sniff in here. I want you to smell out the window. I'll try. There are many strong smells in this part of the city, Adonai. But there is something truly unpleasant as well. Something beneath this fire escape. Okay. Now go fetch. You could ask nicely. Wait, Sarah. Yes? It's a very old, rusted fire escape. Take the stairs. You're too heavy. As you command, Adonai. Un instant. Several minutes later, Sarah returned, looking worse for wear, and, seemingly, in a bad mood? Did the weight comment bother her that much? Adonai, I do not like digging through trash. It is not a dignified way to investigate. Digging in people's trash is the basis of all good investigation. Easy for you to say when you aren't wearing all white. Did you find something? Yes. My knife. And it's charred? I found it amongst the ashes of a blackened steel drum below the fire escape. It seems to have been the site of a fire. That sounds familiar. Wasn't there a barrel burning in the alley when I first scoped the place out? There were signs of a chemical flame retardant being applied to the barrel. Police must have put the fire out when they first secured the scene. Meaning the knife wasn't in a fire all night, but still. There does appear to be blood on this knife, Adonai. So how did both the police and scientists miss it? Their noses aren't as good as yours, evidently. That is true, but they have drones and dogs for this kind of thing. Yeah, but they have to actually use them. They'd have no reason to search the vicinity for a bloody knife if they found a sword sticking out of a corpse's midsection. Shall we ask the police to check for fingerprints? Fingerprints are mostly oil and sweat. Fire evaporates them both. Then, we have to test and see whose blood is on that knife. But DNA is damaged by heat as well. You know, before DNA analysis, blood had another forensic use. You mean, blood typing? The DNA on the knife might be too damaged, but modern analytical tools should be able to at least identify blood typing. That could work, Adonai. Great. Ready to get started? Pardon? You were capable of recognizing my DNA, weren't you? Oh, she wants her to lick the knife. Morgan, come on. When we first met, yes, but... So why don't you try your hand at analyzing blood type? It's gotta be simpler, right? It might be, but Adonai, to analyze the blood on this knife, I would have to use my tongue. Pretend it's a lollipop or something. It's blood. Well done blood. It'll taste like beef. You don't know what human blood tastes like. Sarah, you might have struck out on that one. Of course I don't. Look, the fire sanitized it. Probably. Just get it over with. I will reference this incident the next time we discuss raises, Adonai. Fine by me. Because that's never happening. Analyze the blood. She's doing it. She did it. Yay. Oh, no. She hated it. She hated it so much. What have you got? There is blood from more than one person present. Mostly B-, I believe, with some AB- around the tip. Alright, now I can cross-reference that with the rest of the data I have. Okay. Let's see. Freak. O negative. So it was A and AB... What is it? A negative and AB positive? B negative and AB negative. Okay. So not Creek. Reyes, Rockford, Rogers? No. Shadow, Sarah, Sosuke. Okay, we have AB negative. Okay. Tanks, A negative. Trey, O positive. Who was it that had the... Miller. B negative. Okay, yeah. So, Sosuke and Miller, most likely. Just gonna double check all of them, just to see what my options are. Okay, so maybe we stabbed Masters. Maybe Masters was stabbed by it. Maybe I was stabbed by it. Interesting that Morgan and Masters have the same blood type. I wonder if that's symbolic of anything. Rogers may have been stabbed by it. UAD. Yeah, so the most likely is Sosuke also was stabbed by the knife a little bit. Thank you for the report, Sarah. You've given me a new lead to follow. Yes, Adonai. And you've just made your first forensic contribution to an ongoing criminal investigation. My knife. A mass-produced, medium-sized combat knife sold at a wide variety of outdoors and hunting vendors. Recovered at the bottom of an ash-filled barrel at the alley just outside the crime scene. Bears clear signs of blood on the blade despite being significantly charred by the flames. Last time I'll ever leave is something important with Sosuke. How the hell did it end up outside? It's a great question. How many androids can say that? Now, come on. We've got some boxes to tick. Is this evidence? It's a piece of crap some crime scene tech left behind. Nothing relevant about it. Yes, you're right. It's just displaying a news article they must have been reading. Apparently, they've arrested the Heartbreak Killer. It's about time. Goddamn. It's copycat. Yes, the Heartbreak Killer's copycat. And it seems... Just let me skim it for myself. Individuals suspected of planning an act of terror have been arrested. Apprehended by officers seemingly in the midst of preparing their attack, having already loaded a firearm and several magazines. Properly tagged firearm. Identified a troubling pattern of net activities. Old net portals. Manifesto in question consists of publicly accessible online document praising Heartbreak's hardline stance against neoliberal corporate soft power. Complaints and criticisms against business decisions made by Hanami Robotics. Moving their manufacturing jobs offshore. Their stock price steadily increased the days after. Interesting. Arrest was first made. No clear connection between the Invisible and Hanami was apparent. Speaking to an investor conference at the hotel with 50 kilometers of the suspect's resident. Easily caught, easily prevented. There's no standing risk to the public. Any dissidents out there thinking they're the next Heartbreak just because you bought a gun, you will be caught, you will be prosecuted, and your hero won't be far behind. Hanami Robotics hasn't responded to requests for comment. Denouncing the strongest terms rising violence. Clarifying the global market strategy, reaffirming their commitment to their workers as well as their customers and shareholders. Okay. It's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing. Seems like Heartbreak isn't going away no matter what happened to the original. So it would seem. It is theoretically possible that a Heartbreak copycat did this, I guess. Or at least did the last murder. Then again, the Heartbreak Killer is most known for guns, so I don't know why they would use a katana. So this is where they found Creek's body. He was the only one who didn't die instantly. If anyone had a chance to use a silent alarm... No, he must have been paralyzed in between the time he was shot and his actual expiration. They weren't paralyzed. What do you mean? If they had been paralyzed, Yumi would have noted that in her autopsy. That's true. But he just sat there limp the whole time, didn't even try to move. He was laying dead, letting me think he couldn't move so I wouldn't notice his... Was anything found in his hands? Anything at all? It doesn't seem like it. They weren't holding something by the time their body got to the morgue. Interesting that Morgan uses he by default for Creek, whereas Sarah uses they by default for Creek, who does canonically use any pronouns. If he had been holding something but dropped it when he died... Help me look. For what? Anything small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Hang on, what's this? It's a button. What was that? Did you just jump? I was merely surprised by that sound, Adonai. What sound? I just brushed against this little toy thing. You can hear it. I can, and it's not exactly pleasant on the ears. Could any android hear it, or is it this some special feature David gave you? I'd imagine any android or robot or electronic device with modern features could pick up this tone. Maybe I should just close the windows before I test it anymore and stop torturing all the dogs in the neighborhood. Closing the window would not matter. Okay, there we go. Got it. It's soundproof, though. But the specific frequency of this tone is not in your audible spectrum to begin with. Right. But do you really think Creek was toying with that nuisance maker in their final moments? Well, we found out how that cop heard this. 20 months? That's like a year or something? Yeah, it's a year. It's definitely a year or something. Thanks for the subscription, Level 1 Cleric. It's always nice to see you back. Ankar Tan. Supposedly, he was the first to die. Logically, he had to have been. He's the one who had the gun. If an attacker got it away from him, they must have done so first. Yes, I can see that the gun is registered to him. Right, registered. Who the hell would look at the guy with that gun and just nod him along? Patrol officers TC and HR 1 week ago. TC and HR. Tariq Chopin and Huey Rogers. The badge numbers match. Interesting. It seems like they detained Ankar Tan briefly during a stop and frisk and found a gun on him. Finding a gun like this on anyone with priors during a stop and frisk. At the very minimum, that's grounds for 28 days detainment. Why'd they just let him go? It's possible he was a criminal informant? If he was a CI, they wouldn't have even logged the incident. And besides, patrol officers don't have their own CIs. Then perhaps they let him go for some other reason? Because they'd already gotten what they wanted from him? Chips? Yeah, we're loaded on chips. Bribed with more guns. More likely, I think Chopin was in the pocket of the Blue Bloods. Like, all the evidence is pointing towards that. Like, it was just a bluff. But it's really starting to seem like that is the actual case. Fake it till you make it? Hell yes! Works with confidence, works with evidence. Right away. Found on over a week ago during a routine civilian frisk by officers TC and HR. Possession and firearm in violation of parole. Firearm shows signs of illegal modification. Possession of suspected communication software installed on personal phone. Subject released with a warning in accordance with Police Code 65-3-2090. Personal discretion without prejudice. The fuck does that mean? It's like he was released just because they felt like it? Like that's the whole thing? Reading protocol, designed to make data difficult to physically redistribute. Couldn't anyone just take out their phone and snap a picture of the pages? It seems like some of the responding officers attempted to. The arcs show that they failed. That's some fancy ink. What do you see when you look at the pages, then? No more detail than you do, I'm afraid. It's strange, isn't it? They went to such lengths to protect this information, and yet these papers were left out where Officer Chopin or anyone could read them. They weren't left there by Creek. I took the documents out of his safe so I could reach the mask. And I must have left them out on the desk afterwards. Our client, Sosuke. According to Rogers, this is how he found him. Thrusting the sword into Chopin. Well, that's not what's depicted. Or merely trying to retrieve it. Not a huge improvement there. He really was found in a terrible state, wasn't he? And that was before the police gave him his cop killer welcoming, and... Sarah, bring up the medical files on Sosuke. I want to go over everything we know about how he looked when Rogers arrested him. What specifically? How exactly was he injured? His left hand was broken, he had internal bleeding throughout his torso, bruising and rope burns on his wrists where he was bound, contusions all over the anterior side of his body, and he also sustained a large blunt force trauma wound to the back of his head. His biggest wound was to the back of his head. I guess he fell backwards to the ground. There's also a small cut on his left hand. How small? As if he cut himself in the kitchen. Well, that's probably the blood on the knife. He might have gone to grab the knife that we stuck in his waistband, and, like, he was so drugged out of his mind that he cut his hand on it. Wasn't expecting a metaphor there, but it's effective enough. He was covered in blood, right? Were samples taken for analysis? The blood on his torso and head was all his own. He got some of Chopin's blood on him while he was face down, being cuffed by Officer Rogers. And he also had a great deal of Trey's blood on his feet and pant legs. Any other questions about our client's arrest, Adonai? Not unless there's some crime scene photos you've been holding out on me. I'm afraid not. How is it that I'm the only one who made an effort to preserve the crime scene? That about wraps it up in here. Miss Han, since Cyanus is technically in charge of securing the crime scene, what should we do with this? Do with what? Didn't you turn your phone off? Adonai, please refrain from pressing that button any more than necessary. Sorry, Sarah. I can see you don't like it. But Miss Han's phone doesn't seem to like it either. It's just Han. And I don't know what you're talking about. I get messages all the time. Han, ma'am, if you could please just admit it so she stops pressing that... Fine, whatever. Yes, you found one of our alarms. Pretty clever system. Not really, it's just an app. You set the frequency and get a notification if the app picks it up. The range. A couple kilometers. Thanks for clearing that up. Well, I have you here, though. Exactly how fast did you show up to the scene of the crime? Pardon? This is a blue blood neighborhood. You really expect people to believe the cops lumbered their way here faster than any of you could? What exactly are you trying to say? Yeah, I'm tuned to that frequency. But I'm tuned to a lot of frequencies. It's a good way of communicating without the Megs or the pigs listening. So you didn't get this alarm on the night of the incident? Didn't even know it went off that night. You got proof it did? Can you explain how else Officer Chopin could have gotten there? Nah, not my job to either. Is it your job to come to a fellow Blue Blood's aid when they're desperately calling for help? I didn't know Creek like that. I didn't say Creek was the one who had this. I saw where you were poking around, and they're the head of the pod. I assumed. Creek's a stranger to me. Even though you're both young bloods. Ooh. I'm guessing that's what the tattoo means. Neither of you make much effort to hide it. It is plainly visible, even in their autopsy float. What, the blue tiger? Or, no, is it just the three upwards blood droplets? You have no idea what this ink means. Would you tell us what it means? Blood bag. What? The old guard use you as donors. Gangsters live a life of drugs, smoking, drinking, and back alley mods. They end up with livers and kidneys that look like charred steak. Who could have guessed? Got no children because the Ikaria killed them all. Can't get on the donor list because they're geriatric, reviled crime lords. So what do? Hey kid, want to be a gangster? Let me see if you got what it takes. Hold still while I prick your finger. They tattooed our torsos because if you mod off all 4 limbs, you still pump clean plasma. Well, thank you for the follow, fire-filled Hikio. Every drop an indicator of quality. I'm a universal donor, so I've got 3. Oh, same! I just fucking put 3 blood drops on my tit for the next stream. AAA graded, just like meat. And Creek? Save it for the trial, lady. I mean, Creek, we know what blood Creek had. Yeah, it was O negative, universal donor. Yeah, there's the 3 droplets. Are we done here, you think? Not quite. Emma's argument that Sosuke didn't escape from here. He was brought out into the other room to be questioned, and then he broke free. I know that's not true. Sosuke would have been stuck here until the police arrived if I hadn't handed him the Mag US to, well, frame him. And the knife, also to frame him, but secondarily so that he could cut himself free from his bindings. Those bloody rags there? Remember what Sosuke told us when we first met? That he was bound in here the whole time until his bad Samaritan came along and gave him a knife. Now we know what knife he was talking about. And now I want to know whose blood this is. The blood on the bindings? It would have to belong to Sosuke, wouldn't it? All the other bodily fluids in this room do. Probably. But I need to know. Oh, Morgan's found a new way to torment Sarah. You've already done it once. What's one more time? One more time will surely make me sick. Please, Adonai, let us ask one of the Sinus employees on standby to analyze it. They have a record for very fast turnaround on DNA tests, I promise. I can show you customer reviews. That's right. Sinus does DNA testing. Typically, paternity tests as part of their private investigative services. But they have been assisting the police with DNA analysis around the scene. I will flag the buildings to be analyzed. The bindings to be analyzed. Wait! I've already made the request, Adonai. If you insist on making me test the bindings myself, you will only be upsetting my stomach to satisfy your own impatience. Fine. But I'm gonna cite this incident the next time we discuss a raise. Really is a shithole in here, though, huh? I agree with your sentiment, if you're not your choice of words. It feels like a cruel place. What is it? Was there something we missed in here, Adonai? No, not in here. The windows. They were closed when Krieg was shot, still closed when Chopin and Rogers arrived on site. They were open by the time Rogers got to this room. I used that contradiction to argue for the presence of a third party. Because someone must have opened them. To go down the fire escape. And then what? They must have dropped down to the alley and ran away, right? Yeah, that's one option. What's the other? We're gonna move the dumpster. I'm so excited to move the dumpster. Oh, into this room. Right, the one that London took us to. I want to move the dumpster, though. Would it kill them to do some sweeping around here? I guess that would be contaminating the crime scene at this point. But then what the hell do all these cops and Zionist chumps actually do? Lean on walls and screw around on their phones? I think you're being a bit harsh in your assessment. But you aren't alone in your criticism. Detective Reyes hadn't had much to say about how Zionist employees were not wearing gloves and knocking over trash. If they had picked up the trash, that'd be removing evidence. The arcs would light up. Adding trash, though? Adenine? Help me look through this. Garbage again? Already? Just start looking. Any requires DNA analysis. Wait, there. Red. I don't smell any blood. Not blood. Ink. There it is. I'm wavelengthing with Morgan. I'm in there. A torn page of the Reading documents with what looks like a shoe print on it. Shall we try to match it to samples? Good luck. Cops and security types all wear the same kind of boots. On top of which 99 out of 100 shoes in the city are made by the same two Megs. But if the print isn't useful, that just leaves the actual text, and that looks like the letters were all run through a wash a dozen too many times. Well, it isn't particularly informative, and I don't understand exactly how this clue fits in with everything else we've seen. But doesn't this seem important? Yeah, mostly because it's a Reading document that was removed from the room. Oh. The blood might have stuck to someone's shoe while they when they left that room and came down into this one. Sorry, the fool was just saying goodbye. Let's see. Was Mr. disregarded by previous sweeps? Having been exposed to natural humidity for some time, the Reading is already illegible, but a watermark remains visible in the corner. How could it have been lying here, neglected this whole time? Nah, princess, I'll have to call you right back. Of course! Wouldn't dream of it. Come on. You know me. What'd you find there? More dead man's garbage? Keep it up and you girls are gonna make me look bad. Happy to be of assistance. So would you like to add this to the arcs, or should I? Well, it seems like you've got momentum going, so please don't let me get in your way. You don't wear gloves on the job, Miss Han? It's just Han, but you already know that. You probably also know that they don't really make them in my size. So if we found your fingerprints in here, on those windows, or even upstairs... Oh man, I'd be pretty embarrassed. We almost always get rated 5 stars. So do you need me to walk you out? I'll be fine, thanks. Suit yourself. Just be careful you don't get lost. Sun will be going down soon. It'll be hard to find your way back in the dark. Yeah, okay. This idea is starting to look like a pretty safe bet. Your theory that Chopin was assassinated as an attack on the Old Guard? But how can we confirm it? We still haven't met anyone from the Old Guard. Though, even if we had, it occurs to me they would be reluctant to speak with Sosuke Karya's legal team. Don't be so pessimistic. The enemy of my enemy is usually willing to at least talk. And talk is where I do all my best work. Where do we look then? You've still got the address boss gave us? "6:06 p.m., August 15th, 2086. Blue Blood territory. Hey there, tall, red, and mysterious. Ladies, please, come in. Ladies, please, come in. Don't be shy. Let me guide you to a booth. Right, this is a host club, right? Local host. Should we take a seat for now? With taste as expensive as yours? If you get near a menu, these people will drain my checking account on overpriced champagne faster than I can blink. Ooh, champagne! As much as you'd like. This is gonna derail fast if I don't want to find a way to shut it down. A surefire way to get exactly the right kind of attention and douse their salesmanship in one go. I'll need to go with that. Hey, please don't frown. A smile would suit your pretty face much. I need to speak with your manager. What happened? They're all walking away. Hey, Mama. Yeah. Yeah, there's some kind of, I don't know, accountant or whatever here to talk to you. The voice on the other end of his earpiece grumbles a response. A cranky one, judging by his reaction. Mom will be out in a second. You're expected to buy something in the meantime. You got tap water? You don't want to drink tap water in this district. Soda water? It's all overpriced, lady. Might as well get something you'll enjoy. I thought my first visit to a host club would be more celebratory than this. How much thought have you given this subject? Bad enough I'm walking to the lion's den here, stepping even further into blue blood territory to defend an Ikaria assassin? Do I really have to wait for the shoe to drop in a place this sleazy, too? Are you perhaps not enjoying yourself, Adonai? You're getting better at picking up on that. You are frowning quite openly. Are we in danger of getting arrested here? There's nothing illegal about a host club. So, are you just uncomfortable then? Unamused. Have you ever been to an establishment like this before? No. Not even when you were apprenticing? There may have been certain work parties where attendance was strongly encouraged, but I never set foot within a kilometer of a place like this otherwise. I suppose if you have a hard spending limit, there's only so much you can enjoy, and it's not a matter of cost. It's a matter of taste. Surely everyone enjoys being paid attention, no? It's flattering. Not everyone takes to being complimented. I see. So you respond more to being challenged? What do you think? Perhaps not. What kind of light reading gets tossed around a club like this? Probably something along the lines of, I spent every night at a host club for 1 year. Here's what the staff taught me about emotional workloads in corporate settings. Oh wait, this actually looks somewhat interesting. Fungus stymies bamboo, stokes unrest. Greater than the usual saltwater flooding left many travelers on macro farms, producing the world's bamboo struggling to meet demand. Fungal infections. Worker population and faced the possibility of one of the worst quarters on record. Bamboo is a highly versatile crop, cultivated successfully for thousands of years. Blah, 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 blah. Recent decades advance in agriculture, genetics, restriction on lumber editing, later bamboo becoming premier organic wood manufacturing to construction material. Hardy plant can grow in a wide variety of environments, humidity levels, tailored to grow specifically in a small number of tropic and subtropic biomes. Stable cash crop. Cultivar to target environment. Fungus practically chews through the groves. You can see it growing with the naked eye. Tells us just burn it all, but it's too damp for anything to catch fire. Bamboo is hard to burn, so they want us using incendiary stuff. They won't pay for us to have masks. Hesitancy to provide masks is more politically motivated. Gas mask is still a powerful symbol even today. Back then, workers were on strike because the conditions growing mushrooms in the fungal plots were so unbearable. Regions home to disproportionately young population. Education lies firmly in the realm of the corporate authority. Large okay. Interesting. Not the reading material I expected to find here, but judging from the article, the banks are getting concerned about growing unrest. The fungus is a problem, sure, but they've engineered their crops around problems like they did 100 times before. Easier to update the monoculture genetics than your entire global economic model. The Megs are probably more concerned about all the young people getting agitated about their job security. The warmer the waters, the bigger the storms they brew. I guess we'll see about ordering something. Do you think they were being literal when they said you were expected to make a purchase? Probably. Doesn't mean I'll oblige them. Though it's not like spending money here will make them less likely to cooperate. I would offer some suggestions based on customer reviews and price points, but for some reason I don't see prices listed on any of the items on their menu. Was a mistake made when formatting the data? Me too, honestly. If I go to a restaurant and there's no prices on the menu, I get scared. I really hate this place. I'll have a glass of the house red. The bartender raises their brow before nodding. When they finish pouring, I'm left with a thin-necked glass of lightly bubbling crimson and the unshakable feeling that a hole's been bored in my wallet. Candy red. Is that good? Most red wines are darker than it. Yeah, I would say. They poured you a fucking, like, glass of, like, Twizzler-colored wine. And most red wines also smell more. You're telling me I just bought a glass of food dye and vodka or something? Possibly. But you wouldn't be the only one to do so looking around the room. When in Rome is pretty shitty logic when Rome happens to be burning cash all around you. Mom on deck. The big cheese. What exactly are you expecting? With a title like Mama, I would expect a stern but fair, nurturing figure who... Oh, hell yes! What the hell do you want? Is that how you greet a paying customer? That your wine glass? The one that hasn't been touched? I believe she is letting it breathe. Thanks for the patronage, but you ain't a customer. You're the lawyer defending the hound. You came here for information, not swill. And you came out to speak with me anyway. I take it that means you're willing to talk? Was my mouth flapping not a clear enough sign? Introductions, then. I'm Morgan Esquire, criminal defense attorney representing Sosuke Ikaria, with a glowing green toaster as your +1. Couldn't have put it better myself, Miss Kim Hana, small business owner. March 26, 164 centimeters, blood type AB positive, universal receiver, lame. Small business owner, persimmon handbags and joint cracking. Ooh, good choices all around. Dislikes part-timers, binge watchers, ad vandalism. Interesting. And now I can slice an onion paper thin in 11 seconds. God damn! Do not let this woman near a knife. Shit. Relaxes by shooting clay pigeons. Holy crap. Is this woman like an insane badass? Motto, promote from within. And one of the more influential members of the Blue Blood Old Guard, I take it? The Old Guard are the only Blue Bloods that have any influence at all. First gens and young bloods should count themselves lucky to be middle management. Should you really be calling them young bloods? Oh, now the neon robot is gonna preach to us all about political correctness. Really, madam? I know PC. My gen invented PC. We've got PC coming out our ears. So I mean it when I say youngblood is a term of endearment. Well then, I won't hesitate to use it. To their face? Better not. They'll knock your teeth out. How about a trade, Miss Kim? Mrs., you're talking to a widow. One who doesn't need anything from you. Not the best position to start bargaining from. We're trading information. If you think I can't give you anything, you're not thinking very hard. Oh yeah? What do you think you got? Something I can tell her she doesn't already know? I'm trying to remember who Bresson is. Bresson... What is Bresson again? Oh, copper, magnet. See, none of... Oh, wait. Blue blood. No. Bresson? Anywhere? I don't know who Bresson... I don't know what Bresson is. Bresson's fate. Who the little lord is, which we can't verify, so that's not worth throwing out. Creek's killer we can't say, because that was us. So I'm gonna go with this. I can tell you what happened at the courthouse today. If something worth knowing had happened, it'd be in the news by now. There is currently a blackout on media coverage of today's events. There's always leaks. Finding one will take time. I can give you a first-hand account right now. Let's hear it. Un instant. Hello? Bresson. What a goddamn idiot. Completely useless. That was the guy who tried to shoot him, right. He did manage to infiltrate an entire courtroom full of police officers, even knowing he wouldn't make it out alive. And he still failed to hit the easiest shot of his life. But Bresson's just an incompetent addict. The useless idiot is the one who sent him there. Not you, I take it. Old guard sounds like it moves slow and wise, but we got our fair share of hot-headed dumbasses too. Impatient, hot-headed dumbasses. Time is money. My turn to ask a question. Money. Is that why you've been going after Makoto? Trying to drum up a king's ransom because you can't go to war without a war chest? Who says we're at war? Who says we're in any rush? Our plans are measured in decades, you little shit. No, time is on your side right now. Right now, more than anything, you need money. Says who? You? Says the headlines. Time's running out before you miss the bus on... Nirvana. Everyone in the capital knows it'll be legalized before the end of the year. Bah! Party drug. Dumb money. Yes, dumb money. Best kind of money there is, and you can rake it in by the truckload. If you had the starting capital to build a dispensary network beforehand. As things stand, the gray wave is gonna roll your hard work up in a ball and hand it off gently to the Megs and the Ikaria. You've been losing this game to them for 3 decades straight, but I can see you still haven't gotten used to it. Course not! Who the hell just roll over these upstart bootlicking... That goddamn fox smirking behind his perfumed incenses and paint screens and sheets of gold leaf. Should have cut out his eyes when I had the chance. I'm acquainted with the Hound. Who's the fox? Should we conduct a survey of all IFG members' back tattoos? The fox! The kitsune! Goddamn Daisuke Ikari, of course! The family's patriarch? I haven't had the chance to meet him in person. Ha! Knew there had to be a reason an Ikaria lawyer didn't already stink a cigar smoke. Adonai does smoke, despite my repeated warnings about the health hazards. Have you had your olfactory checkup lately? Loss of smell can be the first sign of... I don't stink. That's the takeaway. Now admit it, you want to capture Makoto Ikaria so you can afford to ride Nirvana to legitimacy. I don't want to capture Makoto Ikaria. You know our history? In brief. So what part of that summary made you think that if I had the chance to end the Ikarian line, I wouldn't take it immediately? Like, if they don't... Look, if they're capturing Makoto, once again, it is not for ransom. It is to marry him off to one of theirs, so that they can be tied into the Ikaria family. Are you speaking for yourself or the whole old guard? Nah, my turn to ask. Is the Hound gonna make it? You asking about my legal defense strategy? His injuries. Any chance he's gonna keel over from an infection after Creek's pod worked him over? Did Bresson somehow manage to nick him? He is still recovering from the injuries he sustained when captured, but he was not harmed during the incident in the courtroom today. Yeah, Bresson didn't even manage a scratch. Not a scratch, huh? Did he even get a shot off? A detective on the scene responded before he could. A detective? Yes. Why? Bah, not wasting a question on him of all people. Speaking of which, the bottle spun back around. Are the Blue Bloods working with the Chopin family to profit off of Proposition 492? Ha! You missed that one. Try another. What do you mean? You think Mr. and Mr. Chopin are working hand in hand with us for a little cross-class embezzling? Those rich pricks wouldn't piss on us if we were on fire, and the feeling's mutual. But they're backing Proposition 492. If you could buy the land they need before the city knows that it needs it. The Chopin family aren't your collaborators. They're your marks. Bingo, kid gets a prize. Or they were. The plan's worthless now. That whole courtroom heard me explain how Creek had reading documents on Proposition 492. Whatever blueprints, whatever land the city had in mind, they'll change all of it. Thanks for that, by the way. Don't blame me. Your plan was always fragile. It was destined to collapse the moment anyone with more pull than a ticketing officer heard the Blue Bloods had eyes on the real estate. Meaning the Blue Bloods would kill to keep those documents from circulating. Yeah, well, that's just how it goes for Plan Bs. Plan B? Now answer me this. What did you see on those Reading docs that tipped our hand about Prop 492? Well, it was mentioned in an abbreviation, if not a name. P492. It was a pretty big giveaway. You must have had more to go on than that. Names, diagrams. I saw Councilman Long's name on there. Long, that sloppy bastard. Wait, you didn't know what was on those papers? Not exactly. You didn't know where Prop 492 leaked from. What are you saying? It leaked from that brat Creek, obviously. Reddick means it was printed off somewhere you trust in a place run by people you trusted. And it doesn't sound like you trusted Creek. Are these your questions? Because they're terrible. And pointless. Blondie's already dead. So Chopin wasn't in on the plan. What possibilities are left then? Might as well try asking while I have the chance. My client overheard something interesting during his captivity. Talk of the Blue Bloods bringing in a huntsman. Fake. And you don't even know what that means. Your client heard wrong, and you're a fool for believing him without any proof. Sorry, I guess he misheard. He must have also misheard that you brought a no mask into the city. Did Sosuke mention that? It's called a bluff, Sarah. Yeah, he must have been delirious. After all, if there had been a no mask at the crime scene, it would have turned up during the police investigation. Huntsman. Ridiculous. Maybe he's real, maybe he's fake, maybe he's already behind you. Phantoms like that get their power from uncertainty. If I answered your question at all, that'd be your answer. Schrodinger's box was already open, though, and the mask isn't there anymore. I keep nudging a fucking power cable or something, and it keeps turning on and turning off my, my tablet. If it's not in the hands of the huntsman, then who has it? A dead man. Who just doesn't know it yet. Final round. But what if we still want to ask? Our house, my rules. Who hired you? Why would she spend her final question on that? I mean, it was Makoto personally. It wasn't House Ikaria. And I'm not gonna lie, because she's gonna know that I'm bluffing. Makoto Ikaria, if that wasn't already clear. You, some no-name nobody with no connection to any of the families. The preteen heir looked you up and hired you to defend his hound. Either you're dumber than you look or just less curious than a lobotomite, but either way, you really don't know the answer, do you? No, I don't. Which I can freely admit. So why does having it pointed out to me feel like such a defeat? Come to think of it, I have one last question myself. That ain't the deal. Then it can be rhetorical. What are you gonna do? You lost all your heirs during the fall of the leaves. Adonai? You're reviled by the International Blue Bloods for locking your treasure behind a GFA you can't crack. Now all the old guard need transplants and transfusions from first and second gens just to stay alive. And they won't be glad to keep that up forever. Eventually, you, all of you, will die. Will you rest in peace knowing everything you ever managed to build will be laundered at what, 30%? 40%! 35%. Just end up in the hands of some punks you tutored? What a nice young girl you are, worrying about your elders. Well, don't worry your pretty little head over dear sweet Granny here. Because she's a mean old bitch in a line of work where anyone stupid dies off young. She and hers are going to be just fine. Don't forget to close your tab before you go. Did you get any useful information from your rhetorical question, Adonai? The question irritated her, but if it didn't make her despair, I may have misread this. The old guard have a way forward. Proposition 492 is no longer an option, leaving them with Plan A. The little lord? But Tariq Chopin is dead. Yeah, he is. I mean, I guess if they have any of his blood, theoretically it wouldn't matter. How dare they! After all they put him through down there in that festering hole of a city district, to try and kill Sosuke in the courtroom of all places. The nerve of those blue blood scum! If we just wait for him to stop, we'll be standing here until morning. So, should we speak up? I don't know, I'm terrible with children. Listen, you just keep nodding, and if he calms down enough to ask a non-rhetorical question, get my attention. What are you gonna do? Try consulting an expert. What do kids your age like? Not my B-Day. I'm not asking for you. And I'm not a kid. So I wouldn't know. If it's for Sarah, I'm not a robot either. What would someone younger than you like? I don't know. Even one grade below me. Their sense of humor is impenetrable. Other day, the school announced they're going to be doing test prep at every grade level. And the top comment, before it got deleted, was a picture of a fish with boots. Okay, that is kind of funny, though. That's just kind of like a funny image. And the caption was, battering me and frying me in oil for 4 minutes on each side. No, that makes sense. It's not that impenetrable. Yeah, thank you. It's a very basic non sequitur. How's this for non sequitur? Go ask someone else. All you did there was get back on topic. Why are you even asking? I've been hired by a youth. And I need to interrupt their temper tantrum. Well, what do you want me to do from here? Hack them some fork knife bucks? What is that? Would that work? Also, what do you mean a youth hired you? Oh. So they must be like rich. Yes. I'm like the worst to ask for advice then. What do I know about rich kids? Your academy is full of them. Why do you think I do as much of my schoolwork as possible for my dorm? Don't you at least have a roommate? Nope. Never got assigned one. Guess there was some kind of unavoidable computer error on their end. This is hopeless. You're usually good at gift giving and shit. Buttering up judges, bribing court officials, slipping coins into Vizier's purses. You have a very antiquated view of what my work entails. Medieval, in fact. I heard he passed. Did you know him? Fucking Jesus Christ. Fucking god damn it. Whatever photo that is failed to send. God damn it. I mean, what would you do if they were a rich adult? Flatter them or whatever? Rich adults are used to people wanting their money. Flattery puts them on guard. So what's the approach? I like that it takes this kid pointing out that if you just treat kids like adults, then they appreciate it and will talk to you normally. Like, you approach them as though you already work for them. Pretend you're a butler. acting on wordless commands they've given without an original thought in your head. They aren't suspicious of anyone they feel like they already own. That mostly makes sense. So do that. They've probably got more in common with a rich adult than kids their own age. Or, you know, anyone else with a soul. Unless there's some reason you can't do your iconic butler technique here. Because I don't want to act subservient to a child. Sosuke did strain himself slightly when he tried to tackle me to the ground, but that was the extent of it. Yes, as my ad says, no one was hurt. Well, the attacker was. Part of an officer-involved shooting, but no one else was hurt. Oh, well then perhaps we should just forgive all and make peace. Those fools will regret their actions. The anger of the house, once roused, is not easily satisfied. Shit, I thought there was a lull, but he's ready to start back up again. As Sun Tzu says, if your opponents have choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Well, yes, but... Please calm yourself, Makoto of House Ikaria. We need to speak with you. About what? About Sosuke. You think he's done something to deserve this? That's not what I... There's nothing Sosuke could have done to justify what the Blue Bloods have put him through. I assumed as much, but... Makoto has no idea what the Hound of Ikari was doing up until a year ago, does he? These questions are foolish! I'll not waste my time! A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can from a wise answer. See, there we go, Sarah. Just keep fucking quoting Sun Tzu at him. Because he's obsessed with that guy. It'll work. No, never mind. That's Bhagavad Gita. Quote the works of tacticians, I suppose. Quote the Bhagavad Gita all you want, robot girl. It is not impressive for a machine to... Bruce Lee said that. Well, he was probably paraphrasing at the time. Will you help us or not, Makoto? Please? If it's for Sosuke... Enough. Electric blue irises flash a deadly glare. The room's shadows seem to extend in his presence, curling and deepening like ink dropped into water. His fucking vape pen. That's a gangster. Chairman! All of you, show some respect, now! He says it out of practice without actually looking around the room. One glance would have shown him there was no need to demand respect. Every head was already bowed. This is a man who's used to others not meeting his eyes. The rest of you get lost. Their practiced obedience didn't betray them. They all slipped away into the halls of the complex without so much as a creak on the floorboards. And even so, their anxiety was screaming at me was like a bad tale begging to be taken advantage of. His presence here today was not expected. Now then. Come here, Makoto-dan. Grandpa! How are things on the front lines, huh? Makoto is the heir, so the chairman is his grandfather, of course, but... My little warlord making his enemies tremble with fear every time he sets foot out the door. I was not expecting the head of a house of nobility to be so... affectionate. He's very fucking, he reminds me of fucking, what is it, Garp from One Piece. I thought you and Father were still at the capital. Well, we were. And we made a lot of powerful people in that city very frustrated while we were at it. And made a lot of frustrating people very powerful, I'm sure. Wish I had seen their dumb faces solemnly nodding when I canceled my meetings. Just to fly home and see my grandson. Chairman, apologies for the lack of an introduction. This is... I know exactly who she is. She's our lawyer. Any good? She is not entirely incompetent. I would hope you could say more than that. And she is also somewhat perceptive, Chairman. Knows when to keep her mouth shut, clearly. How bad can she be? Her methods are odd. She came here to ask me about Sosuke for some reason. Not another word. Chairman? Back in the storehouse on the second floor, there's a cask of sake I won in a drinking game 5 or supposed to have been 6 years ago now. Would you go and fetch it for your grandfather? Of course, but... Old trick of the trade. One sip and anything we tell her becomes inadmissible in court. I see! Very clever, Chairman. Makoto is allowed to drink sake? The hell's wrong with you? Of course he can't drink. It's a ceremony of all, damn it. Understood. I'll go retrieve it right away. Have one of those layabouts that were in here fetch you a ladder first. Make them earn their keep for once. Put on a suit, pair of glasses. You think you could just stand there for the rest of your career, you lazy. Read your damn emails if you got nothing better to do. Should we be seated in a certain way for... There is no cask of sake. Oh. But then the strategy of becoming intoxicated in order to avoid... I made that up. You're the lawyer. Is there any truth to what I said? No need for tricks like that. Attorney-client privilege already binds my hands. I'm working for House Ikaria right now, Sarah. I mean, hell, Makoto could confess to me that he's a mass murderer. I wouldn't be able to tell a soul. So then why did you send Makoto away, Mr. Chairman, sir? Because he's about to say some shit he doesn't want to say in front of his grandson, obviously. I want to walk the gardens. Are we supposed to follow him? He left that part unsaid. How can you tell? Hey, quick strategy meeting? You know what a butler is, right? We're doing the butler routine! The famous Evangeline Morgan butler routine. I'm glad you have such an appreciation for attorney-client privilege, sir. It makes these conversations go much smoother. But if you trust privileges so much, why don't you trust your grandson to be here? Don't kid yourself, Copper. That boy's the future of this family. If I didn't trust him, there'd be no point to any of this. Everything I've built. Dynasties aren't dynasties unless you manage to actually pass them down. What you've built in the last 30 years is undeniably impressive. It must have required astonishing brutality. Progress is brutality, and history is unkind to the gentle. Is that why you orchestrated the fall of the leaves? To get your name in the history books? Orchestrated. So grand, so full of it. We knocked on their doors when they opened and we shot them. Walked up to them in the street and split their stomachs wide. Pulled up beside them and let loose full auto on their limos. It wasn't anything as complicated as orchestrated. I executed. And my uncle named me his successor for it. I like... we haven't seen this face yet. Oh, I can play with the charm a little bit. 104, O positive. CEO, Ikaria Financial Group. Bodybuilding, archery, and bonsai. Dislikes phones at the dinner table. Undefeated at enjoying spicy food. Smells like cedar, tobacco, iron, and dried blood. Handshake, vice-like. The Blue Bloods weren't even able to put up a fight? They were worried about the handshake events and social media perception. Thought their friends in high places would be there when they needed them. Thought they'd already won. So how'd you get away with it? Good timing. No one notices a leaky faucet and a downpour. This was right before the Red Decade got underway? And once the borders started locking up, there was no chance of reinforcements. We never saw it coming. We didn't know there was a bubble. We didn't think it would get that bad. That's what they always say. The losers. The scapegoats paraded in front of courts and cameras to immediately reassure the national audience that no, you couldn't have done anything. You did everything right, so did we. We're all victims of uncontrollable market forces here. Stale bread for a piss-poor circus. With a pity party instead of proper gladiators. I saw the signs, but more importantly, I didn't ignore them. Draughts from heaven, no grain in the storehouses. There'd only be room for one family of thieves in this city. I made sure it was mine. Last call, all aboard. And everything you've built since, Rennigan, Borea Holdings, the legitimate half you're so proud of? That was the easy part, actually. Reprivatizing an industry is tricky business. How do you break up a state-controlled monopoly into a healthy, diverse, and competitive private marketplace? How? Dunno. I'll let you know if they ever pull it off. The shit show they did go with was easily gamed. Sprinkled some cash in the right bureaucrats' pockets, and we were able to snap up entire economies wholesale. We being the nobility, if that's the term you prefer. Adonai, why is he confessing? He's not confessing. Sarah, this is bragging. Mr. Akari, I'm not looking to take up too much of your time, but perhaps you could help me understand something. The inciting incident, as they say, in screenwriting. They say it elsewhere too, probably. A year ago, you extended an olive branch to the Blue Bloods over Nirvana. Was it genuine? My curiosity was genuine. But not your financing? Is that why it fell apart? Why Makoto was attacked? It fell apart because those first gens and young bloods of theirs were hot-headed idiots who can't follow orders. But I expected as much. That's why I ordered my hound to be present on standby. But he didn't assassinate anyone that day, did he? No. Instead, Sosuke stepped in front of a blade that was headed for Makoto. And he's been guarding the boy with his life ever since. Was that your order as well? My order, yes. Not my idea. But I'm a patriarch. I'm the patriarch, not a dictator. If my sweet siblings and darling nieces and nephews make an earnest request, who am I to refuse? You had to be pressured into letting Sosuke guard Makoto? Weren't you concerned about Makoto's safety? Of course I was. I just know the best place for the queen is on the attack, not hopping around the king's sides blocking checks. Hey, chess metaphor, help me out. Any piece can sacrifice themselves, but there's only one queen, and she has by far the most mobility. It's better to keep her out in the open, ideally near the center of the field where she can attack freely. At least, assuming you subscribe to... Okay, got it. But here's the question. Why have the Blue Bloods kept trying to capture Makoto for over a year now? Because of some hot-tempered idiots? What's your answer? Why do you think they would want to capture our little Makotan? If they were literally out for Makoto's blood, they'd want a steady supply. Mirai suggested they try for an arranged marriage down the line, but Tim didn't seem interested in anything of the sort. Well, they wouldn't want to capture Makoto. They don't. They were after Sosuke. A certain mama has said as much to my face. They'd much rather kill your soul heir than capture him. What I'd do, if they had any heirs left. But then why keep attacking Makoto if not to capture or kill him? Their goal's never been Makoto. It's just that every time they've gone after their goal, Makoto's been there. You mean... Put another way, the purpose of an operation is what the operation accomplishes. They've been trying to capture Sosuke for over a year. The other day, they finally succeeded. You'd think those idiot punks wanted to take my hound alive. I don't think. I know. Because that's literally what they did. They captured Sosuke and brought him down to the lower wards. To torture him. Idiots. They don't talk after the third. They'll never talk at all. The third what? It wasn't just any Blue Bloods that tortured him. It was a pod led by a young blood named Creek. Young, old, bound by blood or water. They're all the same scum. As you say, but I've learned that there are some pretty big ideological rifts among that scum. The young bloods captured him, no doubt on Old Guard orders. But just an hour ago, an Old Guard was asking after Sosuke's health. They didn't want him harmed. A generous interpretation. Once again, I am just saying, Sosuke is the little lord. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it with my fingers. Sosuke is the little lord. It wasn't Chopin. It was Sosuke. Unless Chopin is also related somehow. I don't know. I'm guessing the Youngbloods knew that, but they tortured him anyway. Probably because they wanted to know why they've been repeatedly ordered to capture him. Out with it. Why would they want my hound? What the Blue Bloods want, ultimately, is simple. So simple that my android can answer this one. I can? What do the Blue Bloods need right now, more than anything? A lot of money. Without which they can't invest in legalized Nirvana. Such a shame that. But we'll be happy to pick up where they left off. So at a time when they need money, they're throwing their Youngbloods at capturing Sosuke. Ergo, Capturing Sosuke must open a path for them to get their hands on lots of cash. My, I look away for a few days and suddenly my hounds skyrocketed in value. Who do I have to thank? Who raised the price on his head to such a degree? What about Sosuke makes him so valuable? Who raised the price on Sosuke's head? You did. 30 years ago, you made him irreplaceable when you killed everyone who shares a drop of his blood. There it fucking is, baby! I called it! Hell fucking yes! There it fucking is. Sosuke is the Little Lord? Last descendant of the Blue Bloods ruling families and the only person on Earth who can get them back their fortunes. Hell of a shot in the dark. You gonna deny it? Sarah, when did the attack, supposedly on Makoto, begin? About a year ago? What else happened about a year ago? The meeting between the Blue Bloods and the Ikaria that fell into chaos. Where Sosuke was hit by a sword and they were able to test his blood. Makoto made it out without a scratch, but only because Sosuke stepped in front of a blade for him. I can assume that Sosuke's an impressive martial artist, with very well-defined pectorals and collarbones. But even he must have left blood on the floor that day. Yeah, he bled that day, but it's not as if he bled blue. You tell me the old guard can just smell the resemblance? They didn't need intuition or guesswork. Their private security organization, Scientist, is in the business of securing crime scenes, cleaning them up, and performing paternity tests. Could have been a whim. Could have been they were hoping to match him to DNA left at other hound attacks. Who knows? But I would pay good money to have been a fly on their wall when they saw the results. His reaction to this information is not very strong. That's to be expected. I just told him a bunch of information that he already knew. He already knew Sosuke was the Little Lord? That chess metaphor you used a minute ago might have sounded like solid reasoning if I actually played. Unfortunately for you, I find the game boring. So it struck me as very odd that a grandfather like you, equal parts doting and calculating, would ever place his heir's safety below concerns as vague as optimal play. You didn't object to Sosuke guarding Makoto because you wanted to keep your hound. You just couldn't convince the rest of the house it was a bad idea without revealing who Sosuke really is. If he knew Sosuke was the real target and would keep getting attacked, then having him guard Makoto would actually be putting Makoto in danger. You know, bonsai? They look like miniature trees, but they aren't. They're shrubs. You condition it to look like a miniature tree by pruning it daily until it stops trying to grow into what it's meant to be, and instead lives as what you want it to be. Took the Blue Bloods 30 years to figure out my scheme, and you solved it in, what, 48 hours? You deserve a toast. Now I wish that sake was in the storeroom. Instead, as a reward for your after, I'll give you a story. 30 years ago, I saw the future. Not in statistics or stock prices or consumer confidence indexes. I saw it in people's eyes. Fear and delusion. The sinking feeling that maybe everything really is made out of bullshit and sea foam. And that if you ever stop to look down at it, you'll fall through to the bottom. Can't warn people, they won't believe you. They'll strangle you to death for implying their boat might have a leak. Only one thing to do in times like those: take advantage. For 1 year, we pulled back. No resistance, no bargaining. We let the Blue Bloods hungrily swallow what we had left behind. For 1 full year, we withdrew and waited and sharpened our knives. 1 year of preparation for 1 weekend in August. Hottest August on record. They left all the goddamn windows open. So it went fast. We'd show up, get to work, leave a mess for whoever cared to see it, and drive up to the next address. I did 22 myself. That's fucking insane. 22? And even had you asked me back then, I couldn't tell you the first thing about any of them. Except for the 22nd. She had firm eyes. Cold eyes. No, not that harsh. Cool eyes, like condensation on steel. And she was very brave. When I took aim at her, she blinked. Not even upset, just exasperated, like I'd neglected to hold the door for her. My mouth was dry. Felt like I hadn't spoken all day. I had to clear my throat to speak up so she could hear me over the babbling of the river she'd fled to, and the shots in the distance. Wanted to ask her why. Why out here? Why not a panic room? Why she was wearing a medical gown and why her thighs were covered in blood. But instead, I just asked, "Why aren't you afraid?" She said, "I can't be afraid. I'm a mom now." I've always liked that answer. So when the pistol stopped ringing in my ears and I heard the baby wailing in the bushes, I felt inspired. It's a tradition in my family going back centuries that the eldest child be guarded from birth by a nursemaid, typically from a branch family. My wife would be due soon, and the Hayakawa clan had been an unfortunate casualty of that month. There was an opening. Expertly done. But why let him live? Adonai? So that I could invent the little lord. Build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. You started the rumors about a survivor? So long as those fools still had hope they could reclaim their former glory, they'd never rally themselves into chipping away at ours. And if they ever did become a real threat again, I'd have the world's most valuable hostage ready to put them back in check. You turn your enemy's last hope into a meat shield for your family, and eventually your personal attack dog. That was just a bonus. The heir had come of age, and so had Sosuke. He was free to choose any career in the family business at that point. He became the hound of his own accord. I'm sure. But that's just irrelevant at the end of the day. What? It helps me understand why the Blue Bloods have done what they have, but it doesn't put me any closer to proving Sosuke's innocence. But Sosuke's their little lord. If we tell people, won't that change anything? Well, for starters, we won't have any of this in court. Of course not. Can't exactly go telling the court about my exploits 30 years ago. Not when we have attorney-client privilege. But if you use your influence, if you reach out to the Blue Bloods, what? We'll work together to set Sosuke free? I killed everyone who could ever consider family, Copper. Besides, a few old crooks waiting to die, anyone who shares a drop of his blood is in the ground. Most of them put there by me. I did all that to sink the Blue Bloods. Now that they're finally ready to die, you think I'd throw them a lifeline just to protect one man? Just to keep one man out of prison? He's right. I'm not allowed to disclose anything I've learned here without his express permission. It would complicate the tax suit against my family terribly if it came out that I lied about a blood relation, wouldn't it? Sosuke's in the will, after all. That's the law. Didn't mean to run you in circles, honestly. I would have preferred you never wasted your time unearthing any of this. That's what I get for relying on him to deliver a message, I suppose. Well, thank you for the follow. Big Husbrisa Plus? You're the one who wanted me to keep my investigation limited. I thought you'd get the picture and hurry up and make a plea deal, negotiate the charges down to manslaughter. Get this all squared away so we can focus on fighting this damn audit. Audit? Sosuke's on trial for his life. Sosuke is sworn to protect this family with his life. I'm respecting his wishes. If he does go to prison, the Blue Bloods will die knowing their little lord is alive, but permanently beyond their reach, rotting in a cell for killing their own men in defense of their own worst enemy. I can see why you wouldn't mind that outcome. A hostage that you're never willing to sacrifice isn't a hostage, just a babysitting gig. I spared his life 30 years ago. That doesn't even cover his interest. So Sosuke's always just been a tool for you? A hostage you'd protect until the perfect use came along? A hostage you'd protect just until the perfect use came along. I've always wondered, do tools appreciate that part? Whether used properly? What do you think, Copper? Does Sosuke have any complaints? That doesn't make sense. Huh? Sosuke is a veteran. He served the military. Did you grant your hostage permission to go risk his life for the country instead of you? It's not like he was one of those Minutemen they throw at walls. He was never in any real danger. What about as your hound? Deadly assassination and infiltration missions? He could have died during any of them. Why let your perfect hostage, your obedient tool, take on such dangerous work? Why give him your last name? Why let him live under your roof? Raise him like a son? Why trust him with protecting the life of your son, your grandson? Why are you lying and pretending you don't... Pardon my android's outburst, sir. I'll have to adjust her conversational parameters later. Don't bother. Just rip its voice box out entirely if it's gonna speak over a man under his own roof. Goddamn copper. Next to furniture will be telling me what I feel about my own damn family. Raise him like a son. What bullshit. I have no son. Counselor, do your damn job and tell Sosuke to do his. Now. I'm sorry, that wasn't very butler-like behavior just now. It's fine. It was a good play in that moment. But, do you think he meant that? I don't know. Do you think he meant it when he said he has no son? Makoto's Daisuke's grandson. If he has no sons, then the previous heir that Sosuke grew up guarding must have been... Makoto's mother? Is it safe to assume everyone in your family has severe trust issues? I have no issues with trust myself. But as you've seen, the house has very particular preferences when it comes to information siloing. Fancy words. You could have just told me who you are. I told you my name and my position in the house. Is it relevant that I'm married, that I'm a mother? Should I be flattered? You told me you worked for Oria Holdings. You didn't mention you're at least the second most powerful member of the house. If I had to tell people that, it wouldn't really be true, now would it? You could have told me your relation to Sosuke. He guarded you every day of your life up until you were 19. 19? He's your goddamn brother. So the message you wanted me to pass along, if you see a way out, take it. You wanted him to try to make a deal with the Blue Bloods to get out from under the house. If Sosuke merely gave them what they wanted, I'm sure there would be dozens of Blue Bloods ready to confess to the crimes he is accused of. So you knew. You know. You knew. And if you thought he could parse that message, that means Sosuke... He's not an unintelligent man. Merely stubborn about all the most frustrating things. What do the Blue Bloods want from Sosuke, precisely? A blood donation? One sample will not suffice. They need to be able to validate their accounts whenever called for. Daily blood donations, then. I told you, the old guard want to become nobility. How did they cement alliances among the aristocracy of old? They want Sosuke to marry and have a kid. At least one, preferably more. They want Sosuke to marry? But the old guard are old. Sosuke's already got as much blue in his veins as they could ask for. They don't need him to marry into them. They need him to marry into power. Not the worst thing to have asked of you. Have you ever been in an arranged marriage? Don't call it a gift. You were the heir apparent up until Makoto was born. All that time, Sosuke was your bodyguard? And driver. And poison taster, though that would most often entail me giving him concoctions to try. But his assignment actually ended when I married. Tracking Makoto's age, that had to have been over a decade ago. So he joined the military the moment he didn't have to shadow you anymore? And after he got back, he asked you to become he asked to become the Hound. Guy must really hate guard duty. He must. Back up a moment. Your father didn't want me uncovering Sosuke's parentage. Most likely because he didn't want Sosuke to know the strength of his own bargaining position. But you told me to pass Sosuke a message that he'd only understand if he already knew who his parents were. So how long has he known? And how long have you known that he's known? And when did Daisuke cease knowing who knows what? Around the time Sosuke left for the military. Hell of a thing to find out at your entrance physical. It was before he left for the military, actually. Did that influence his decision? Sosuke finds out he could be the richest man in the city, and then he wants to risk dying in battle? Quite the guilty class consciousness. I don't know exactly what did or didn't influence his decision to join the military back then. You'd have to ask him. I apologize for any gaps in knowledge you've had to work around, but hopefully you now understand how delicate of a situation you found yourself in. Yeah, I can smell the explosives and hear the fuses sizzling. I just don't get why no one's gone over to stomp them out. If Sosuke's known this whole time why the Blue Bloods wanted to capture him, why didn't he tell us? Because he's a stubborn man working for a highly secretive family. That I get. What I don't get is why he didn't defect the moment he learned the truth. Who knows? You'll have to work out the rest with him. I've given you all the aid my position allows. I suppose it was kind of you to share information with us at all. Being in charge of the legitimate side of your family, you don't have any connection with the incident yourself. No connection with this incident? That's not quite accurate. Pardon? You do have a connection to this case, even if you yourself don't realize it. I found a note by the body of the Blue Blood who took Sosuke captive. It read, M. Ikaria. This was one of the men who attacked my son. I'd imagine a note with his name is the least of what you found. They've never been after your son. Not once. It's always been about capturing Sosuke, and Makoto's just been in the crossfire. Which Sosuke knows. Which explains his reluctance to accept the responsibility of guarding Makoto. So I seriously doubt this dead man was interested in Makoto Ikaria. Mireille Ikaria, however, has no relation to the world that dead man lived in. That was decided the day she was born. But you do have a relation to Rennigan. Makoto mentioned your family was given one seat on the board as a show of respect. I take it that's a deception too? You may have let Rennigan go public, but you've never given up control of it. The rest of the board must be your family's puppets. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what Rennigan makes, and the prices it charges. Rennigan is best known for the patenting of metformin, a patent which expired years ago, plenty of other companies making it now, and yet the price hasn't gone down. The invisible hand sets price where it will. Sure, but this is your invisible hand. A normal corporation couldn't strong-arm its competitors into keeping prices high. That'd be operating as a cartel. But the reincarnation of the Ikaria drug cartel would know exactly how to go about that without getting caught. If that were true, it'd be much easier than you make it out to be. The right email signature, the right package delivered to the right address, the right look. These executive types scare easy when the perceived threat is anything bordering on the physical. Of course, it helps that the end result is we all profit immensely. But yes, metformin is very lucrative. What of it? That dead man, Creek, had a brother with expensive tuition. And TAD. Type 2 abnormal diabetes? He'd need metformin for the rest of his life. Then he really ought to choose the proper insurance plan, don't you think? I don't get the impression that family member coverage is a benefit the Blue Bloods offer. I suppose even the Mob Act has its limits. Yes, one could find the name of M. Ikaria in relation to the Rennigan board if they looked hard enough. So you think this Creek individual is going to threaten me? Come up to me on the street with a knife, a gun? He wouldn't get within 100 meters. I don't doubt that. Now the rest of this is speculation, but he might have just wanted to contact you. That would have been even less likely to succeed. So you truly don't care that his brother needs this medicine? Sosuke's like a brother to you, and you've gone out of your way to try to help him even when you stand to gain nothing from it. Yes, but I wouldn't expect my enemies to be impressed by that effort. How would you feel that if they laughed at your effort? My apologies, new android still adapting a conversation. You know what we sold back before Rennigan? Before the facade of nobility, back when we were the Ikaria cartel? Opioids? Yes, It was still legal back then. But not for everyone. Take the exact same compounds, put them in an extended release pill, and sell it at the pharmacy. And that's just pain management. It's all the same poison, equally addictive whether you get it from a dealer or a doctor. Have you ever seen someone go through opioid withdrawal? Like taking a wine opener to your stomach for 7 days straight, they testified. Pain like that eats people alive, slowly, and replaces them with something unrecognizable. A loving parent would steal from their own child if they thought they could buy them release from that kind of pain. Painkillers. What a joke. Does Rennigan produce painkillers? No, we do not. People die if they don't get the medicine they need, and I'm sure their family mourns them. But addicts die a little more every day of their life until the day they finally fade out forever. And their family feels disgusted with themselves for breathing a sigh of relief. Plenty of kinds of evil in this world, little girl. Plenty to choose from for real people like us. If you don't choose, the choice is made for you. Now wipe that look off your face and access the following address: renegade.main.financing.prescriptionfinancingoptions.outofpocket.apply. You have that memorized? But this portal is not listed or linked to anywhere on the site. I know, but it still works fine. By law, we have to have it, but we can't be blamed if the website is poorly designed. If you know any despondent crybaby college students looking for coupons to help pay for medication, they might want to start there. Thank you. Don't thank me. Don't. I can't stand it. Just save Sosuke's life. Don't know how you pulled that off. Adonai? They do consistently refer to themselves as a house. Perhaps they simply value family more than you think. (7:14 p.m., August 15th, 2086. So where should we begin? What do you mean? I'm afraid I don't have anything new to tell you. Stubborn about all the most frustrating things, was it? I'm your lawyer, Sosuke. We're sworn to always do what's best for our clients, their rights, and their privacy. To an extent that many consider extreme, we are unable to disclose incriminating or otherwise problematic information that our clients give to us, no matter the circumstances. This whole system is designed to benefit the defendant. So it really upsets me when I find out that my clients are lying to me about vital information that could help me save their lives. If you're troubled by the nature of my work as the Hound, you're adopted. Yes, from the Hayakawa. That's bullshit. You know it, I know it. And people whose opinions you respect know it. Fine. All members of the military have extensive DNA samples on record. If I subpoena... Alright, stop. Just stop. Does the military keep all its members' DNA on record? I don't know, probably, right? Yes, I know what you are referring to, even before I knew I did wonder. If you've known about your real family for more than a decade, why haven't you ever... Because it doesn't matter. Try telling that to the Blue Bloods. They've been risking a gang war for over a year trying to get to you. That's their choice. It has nothing to do with me. How can you... I'm appalled, Sosuke. How could a brave soldier serving the House of Ikaria allow violence to continue when he knows he could stop it? A worthy attempt, counselor. Sorry, I guess I'm not used to having to persuade people to act in their own best interest. Or that of their family. Family? The Ikaria raised me, fed me, taught me how to read, write, walk. They gave me a home, a purpose. They're using you. They need me. They've got a funny way of showing it. I owe everything to them and nothing to the dead. They're only dead because the man you call a father murdered them. He did that a long time ago to people I've never met. You'll have to forgive me if I'm short on empathy for complete strangers. Aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, siblings. You can't call them complete strangers, Sosuke. Can't I? The Ikaria are my family. Nothing will change that. Nothing ever could. Let's test that. Pardon? The state thinks you murdered a cop. They'll make you sure no one ever thinks of following your example. Let me repeat that. The full brunt of the police state is about to fall directly on the back of your neck. Hammer. Nail. I'm not afraid of prison. You ever been in one? What? No, They shave you. What? When you're convicted, they shave you for hygiene. It's not for hygiene. Are you talking about that virtual work release thing? Do they fit you for skull caps? Not right away. They don't do that to people. Put a man in chains, strip him naked, sew his mouth shut. He'll still recognize himself in the mirror. He's still a person. But shave his head, give him a uniform, and make him sit in the dark with 500 others who have been treated the same? He starts to forget. Forget that he's a person. After you're so bored you're seeing constellations in concrete, and after you're scratching your skin raw just to feel something new, that's when they ask if you'd like a job. After people stop being people. How could you even know any of that? Virtual work release. Due to an ongoing controversy followed the suspected suicide of inmate Jay Gallet, search results for this term are temporarily blocked. I see. I'm a defense attorney, Sosuke. Who else gets to see the inside of a prison and walk away afterwards? Makoto sent me himself, so you never actually took your one phone call, did you? Take my phone and call Hana Kim. The Blue Bloods will volunteer for a fall guy to confess to these crimes, and you'll walk free. After which you'll become one of the richest men in the city overnight. That's not... If you are at all curious, I have done some calculations to estimate the extent of your familial holdings. The number is quite remarkable. Though I suppose I haven't taken taxes into account. No one's asking you to abandon the Ikaria. You could become their greatest ally. Together your families would... I know exactly what would happen if I made that deal. I won't do it. Why the hell not? Why not, Sosuke? You're forgetting a few small details involved in this process. Namely, disowning the people who raised me my entire life, and claiming myself before the world as the son of people I've been fighting since I was a teenager. How shameless do you think I am? Daisuke, that man raised me like his own son. In return, I can't throw away the name he gave me just for goddamn money. Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. Is that it? You would rather rot in prison as an Ikaria than live in luxury as a blue blood? Gladly. This is my answer, Morgan. You try to use my parentage in the trial tomorrow, I'll dismiss you as my counsel, and change my plea to guilty. If that's your answer, then that's your answer. You're the client, what you say goes. Right? So if you somehow last another night without the cops smothering you in your sleep, we'll need some kind of strategy when we go into court tomorrow. Of course we will. And what are your thoughts on the matter? I might have found a window of opportunity. A chance that someone other than you had the means, motive, and opportunity to commit these crimes. Have you remembered anything else about your captivity? Maybe, if we go over it again and I extrapolate somewhat, or a lot. We'll need to be prepared. You're going to be called to the stand tomorrow. All I need to do is keep silent, right? You better not. I'll be the one asking the questions. You're going to call him to testify? What do you expect me to say up there? I want you to tell the truth, of course. I want you to tell the court exactly how you were set free. Alright, you good on taking another night shift? He's infuriating, but I'd rather he didn't get shanked at the moment. Of course, Adonai. Detective London will be back shortly, and I'll make sure Sosuke's monitored all night. What is it? You gonna ask me to explain his decision? Because I'm done trying at this point. I don't think his decision is that confusing. He wants to be loyal to the people who've shown loyalty to him. Shown loyalty? Do you need a microscope to see it? You spot any members of the noble house of Ikaria around here? Are they hiding under a box somewhere? The people have shown loyalty to him historically. His decision doesn't confuse me, but his choice of words... He considers the Akari his true family, yet he again spoke of a debt to them. That seemed odd to me. What do you think? I don't know. Do they really shave everyone in prison, or was that another bluff? Not everyone, no. Only everyone who can't pay the fees. I feel kind of weird and, like, not great right now, so I'm probably gonna call stream once we get to the courtroom. And we'll just do that next stream. I don't know, I'm, like, sweaty and I don't feel well. I don't know what's going on. Morgan's apartment. Yeah, I figured we were gonna have another nighttime Morgan's apartment situation. So we'll do that, and then we will end the stream once we get to the courtroom. A good puzzle feels satisfying to complete. Like a good story, it maintains its appeal even when viewed in hindsight. A bad puzzle doesn't make sense after you finish it. The picture's there, but it's muddled, vague, and you feel like an idiot for bothering to piece it together. Tosuke Akari is that kind of puzzle. I fit every edge to every edge just so, but the result wasn't satisfying. An infuriating client to cap off a frustrating case. Having to keep track of what the cops know, what the Blue Bloods know, what the Akari are hiding, what Emma's thinking, what I've learned, what I know to be true, what I can prove, and what I can actually say. And even after all that, getting kneecapped when my client refuses to play his best cards. I want to clear my head. Or maybe empty it. Bake? Question mark? I don't feel like finding something to stream. Sarah's messed up all my recommendations anyway. My homepages used to be great, tuned to a T. I'd get closed-circuit footage of industrial machine accidents and gun disassemblies with no commentary in the title. Now it's all street workout videos and film director tier lists. The end result is my internet history looks like a little more random to an outsider. I guess I can forgive it. But if she ever gets me added to mailing lists for diet supplements, I'm fully revoking her net access. Not in the mood for people watching. Sometimes, if I let my eyes unfocus, a massive foot traffic on the streets below melds into one dark amoeba, curling slightly at its edges as it squirms along the petri dish of the world around me. Its edges lost beyond the horizon. Which can be zen in its own way. I'm guessing that's what people see in ant farms, but I wouldn't know. Who the hell would want more insects crawling around their house? Baking. I'm not hungry. Baking is satisfying. Applied chemistry, which is just applied math. But the cleanup isn't fun, and when I don't have a neighbor I'm trying to butter up or a client to visit, everything just sits in my freezer until I end up throwing it out. Sarah seems to shovel it down without complaint, but she's not here now. When I was still slaving away in that witch's office, I never wanted for hungry mouths. Co-workers will eat anything you leave out in a break room. If I ever get truly desperate to hide evidence, I'll just bake it into a pie and find an office birthday party to crash. It'd be gone without a trace in minutes. This is pointless. Might as well close my eyes and wait. Even staring daggers into the backs of my own eyelids would do more good than this. Whatever this is. Hey, cool kid. You go to jail for starting this pyramid scheme of an extracurricular activity. Does that help or hurt your chances of becoming a lawyer? You're trying to recruit members because if you don't hit critical mass, this all falls apart. It's exactly like a pyramid scheme. Well, I don't know if I can give you advice since I'm only a member on paper, but if you want to start a club for solving mysteries, maybe you should, solve one first? I don't know, ask questions, talk to people, I guess, record what they say, take notes, and think hard. Oh, you never know. You can be pretty persuasive, or at least entertaining. I mean, I'm still sitting here for some reason, right? Guess I fell asleep after all. Still dark out, though. What time is it? 5 in the morning? It says 9:40 on my phone. I slept for 30 minutes? That's it? What the hell's going on with me today? Ugh, am I really about to give up and start scrolling on my phone? I should check my temperature. There might be something wrong with me. Don't feel like going to find the thermometer. How about a bet? 300 says the first article that pops up is an advertisement. There's always good news every night. Beloved school janitor dance-off salute by students after having to postpone retirement for third time. Double or nothing. Federal investigators recover Dennings girl. Well, congrats on no longer being kidnapped, but you just cost me 600, you little shit. The nation rejoiced tonight as the daughter of renowned philanthropist Joseph Dennings has been confirmed home safe and sound. Old technique playbook that applies old techniques to tackle new challenges. Originally rose to prominence CPO's Constancy Incorporated. Bringing advertising to the front lines with heads-up displayed services cracked up a previously uncharted market of active duty armed forces members. Constancy, one of the leading advertisement agencies in the world, Dennings thought he'd finally get to spend time with his family when graciously stepped down to CEO to serve as CEO advisory. Daughter was kidnapped on her way home from school in an attack investigators described as meticulously planned and flawlessly executed. When the vicious attackers contacted Dennings' family and demanded an exorbitant ransom, first 24 hours were essentially need every minute we can get. I closed it by accident. Shit, I need to fucking, before it asks me questions. Da-da-da-da. We need every minute we can get. It's really quite remarkable that Mr. Dennings was clear-headed enough to contact us right away, said one investigator close to the operation. Investigators sprang into action, of course, but here our story takes a curious turn. And instead of searching the map for the young Dennings girl, they mapped out the psychology of the kidnappers themselves. We wouldn't really describe this as a terrorist act. Did do thus the courtesy of communicating openly and often. From the way they spoke, the words they chose, we started to narrow down their possible backgrounds. Carrying out the attack in a so-called quartet formation considered a signature of military's elite hostage retrieval squad. Try to copy what they see in military sims. Without such a shot fired, skills like that are unfortunately for the suspect are unique as fingerprints. Possible relationship between Mr. and Dennings' past work and the suspect's military backgrounds. No bearing the value of his daughter's life. Glad to say is no longer in any danger. Special Investigator ISA, Technical Analyst Sokolov, Special Agent Greenfield, and Special Agent Beckham. What are the chances I see that name? Perfect timing, actually. Maybe chewing out Mireille for keeping me in the dark is just the nightcap I need. That woman was like a black cat. Hang on, that knock doesn't sound like Mireille. Oi! That voice almost sounds like... Turn up all rid of you shit. Better check the door cam. Oh, okay. Reyes is here. Detective, is that you? Open up. Pardon? I said open up. Hang on, are you? Don't pretend you can't hear me, you little creep cave, you little creep. Detective Reyes, are you drunk? Yes. No. It's a crime for you to ask me that. Oh. I can just wave my badge hello to the door cam. And my door just unlocks like that? That cannot be legal. Oh, it's not legal. What? Wait, what model of door is it? Oh yeah, for this model of door, the city zoning, it is legal for me to unlock your door like that. Guess Han had a point. I need to make spare keys as a fair trade-off to avoid this bullshit. And since you just invited me in, I did not. Here I am, above the book. What's happening right now? Why is your ceiling all the way up there? Who'd you kill to get a place this huge? What'd you even do with this much space? Hang from the rafters like a bat? Echo! Echo, echo. Detective, this is absurd. Does anyone even know you're... Does anyone even know you're here? What? Let me check. Detective Reyes, badge number 10806, reporting on all channels. Self-assignment, protective surveillance of suspected criminal target, threat assessed at medium to low, target capabilities, not a threat to self or others. Reporting in from, what's your address? Do not dox me to every cop in the city, Reyes. Reporting in from address withheld. Any copies? Over. Copy. Copy. Cam saw you entering the building. Copy. Reading your bio monitor. We've got you, 10806. Have a quiet night. Are you finished? Hey, where's this snowball? What? She waves her hands in a rough approximation of something cloud-shaped. Snowball, porky ball, matcha ball. Sarah's doing her job. Likely story. You probably make her sleep in a coffin in the parking garage. Going off of David's setup, she might be more comfortable if I did. Is this booze? That's water. Ugh, God. Can I do something for you this evening, detective? Or did you come here just to critique my interior decorating and knock shit over? I came here because I'm drunk. And I'm drunk because you're in danger. No, other way around. I drank because I was pissed. And Kaz and everyone else told me to go home. Even though he shot a guy only a few hours ago, I am the one who's too emotional and too useless. So I came here to catch the bad guy. Because you are defending that cop killer. Uh-huh. Who's also an orca killer? A whale cop killer. Killer whale cop. Every goddamn idiot in the city wants to shoot him. And also you, because you're a stinking lawyer. Thanks. And I'm a cop. Cops are supposed to protect people. Even stinky lawyers. Thanks. So I'll park myself right here and catch the next assassin they send after you, then lock them up and throw away the key. And if I accidentally save your life too, that's okay. Even if you don't deserve it. You could have just stopped talking. I could stop talking easy. Do you really not have anything to drink? I'm not sure I want to drink with you, detective. Who invited you? You're the host, do whatever, but I am gonna do what I gotta do, and where the hell's the screw top? If I have to host a drunk Detective Reyes for the rest of the night, as I evidently do, suppose I needn't force myself to go through the ordeal sober. Are these two gonna fuck? I feel like that's what's gonna happen. I wonder how fast Morgan gets drunk. I feel like it's not quickly. I think in the first episode, it was like she drank David under the table every time or something. I'll get a bottle opener, detective. Oh, shit. I said I'll get it. Wait. This is the best part of the vid, where he breaks down the horsepower. For years, they all abided by this gentleman's agreement, where their engines would have horsepower capped at 270 or so, to avoid this, like, arms race of engineering in a country with such huge street racing scene. Right. But the crazy part is, it was only ever on paper. They were building and selling cars with 300 plus horsepower, and they all just listed the horsepower at 270 domestically. Yeah. And God, everybody knew it. I mean, they were selling the same car with the same engine, with the same goddamn torque rating in two different countries. They were saying, oh, I don't know, I think it's only 276. That's crazy. I was born in the wrong generation. I'll die without even knowing what gasoline smells like. Gasoline is odorless. It is not. What? It's odorless. They added a strong smell during refinement so the leaks could be noticeable. Right! I forgot about that. I forgot that the gasoline smell is fucking artificial. Damn, Morgan calling me out as soon as I call you out wrongly. That's natural gas, you dummy. Scared me for a second, jeez. Oh no, that is natural gas. I was right and then wrong because Morgan presented her argument so persuasively. Yeah, no, it's natural gas that they odor. If you're gonna try and ruin something for me that I never even had a chance of experiencing, you better get it right. Doesn't know the difference between gas and gasoline. So you knew Chopin? So you knew Chopin? God. We dated, okay? Happy? I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have guessed you eat pussy like a champion, to be totally honest. For how long? Once? Which is not a lot. Duh, I know. It was such a shitty date. Wore his uniform like I was supposed to salute. God, he was cheap. Said, what do you tip? I said, what do you tip the bartender? He got all confused. He just handed me 2 cans. Why would I tip? Because you tipped a goddamn bartender, man. That's why. You can always tell when someone grew up with money. Maybe they just can't hide it. Maybe none of them ever learned the decency to try. Rockford's not so bad. I mean, it's obvious, but like the airhead part kind of offsets it. Yeah, that's... What do you mean? Emma comes from money? Guess even you can tell a joke. Worst date I've ever been on. Waitress looked like she was gonna stab him. You'd think he was allergic to salt with all the nitpicking he did. Then he has the balls to tip 10%. That is bad. Oh, what do you know? You probably haven't been on a date since the 60s. How old do you think I am? I was talking about the tip. What tip? Oh, the tip. Well, yeah, but still, you even have a dating profile? Or do you just hang around funeral homes and castles and shit looking for other creatures of the night? I don't have a dating profile. You met Chopin through an app? Yeah, a dating app for cops. There's a dating app for cops. Yeah, just for cops. Just for all. Why is it called Just for All if it's just for cops? It's a... Oh, it's a pun. Well, not really a pun. Wordplay. Play on words for justice for all. The cop catchphrase. We say it all the time when we catch people. There's an app for everyone. Probably even lawyers with sun allergies. I don't think there's an app for me. Hang on, let me project a hologram of the world's smallest violin out of my eye socket. Apps suck anyway. The one I matched, she was terrible. Her teeth. She was trying to smile or some shit. She was all teeth. I think it was her first kiss. You remember your first? I don't know why everyone's always so concerned with firsts. Okay, so she goes both ways. Alright. I guess I should have guessed that instead of just being, like, fully a lesbian. Just, like, with the haircut and all. The hell does that mean? Don't worry about it. I have never once given a second thought to anything you say, so get that straight. Want to slap the guy's dumb face at the end of that date. But then I didn't even recognize him. When Lon and I came and he was face down. Whole floor, blood. Just blood and paper. Couldn't turn him over, had to preserve the scene. Just had to leave him there. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry, I'm angry. You seem to get angry a lot. You've been anger management? You know what that's about? Managing anger? Keeping calm. Not letting your emotions control you. I'm great at all of that. If you say so. I do say so. With what I'm feeling most of the time, I'm a goddamn saint with how calm I stay. I'm just too small. A little hole in the bottom of a big water tower. Fills up faster than it ever drained. If I was big, I'd trample this whole city down long before my anger's gone. They didn't even seem like people from the hall. Those two people-shaped things face down blood. Sosuke and Chopin? They were both face down? Well, yeah. Because Rogers was cuffing Sosuke on the ground. Rogers, what a klutz. That guy couldn't cuff a cow. A cow? I don't know, something that cuff easily. A dress shirt. Oh, what do you want? A round of applause? Everyone clap for the world's greatest, wordsmith. Just shut up. This is, like, the best conversation that's happened all episode. This is so much fun. Persuading her to remove her shoes and socks before tossing her up the stairs was the very upper limit of my patience. Making it off the floor and onto the bed is up to her. I don't care. I can sleep on my couch. I could sleep in my chair if I had to. I can fall asleep in any position, actually. It's Not actually worth bragging about, especially to myself. So now a homicide detective knows where I live. Guess the address is on the business card, downside of a home office. At least it's fun to imagine how sick she'll be tomorrow. Can't remember a time I got that drunk, thankfully. Can't remember a time I got that mad. And the last time I cried. Screw this. Introspection's a scam. I'm not nearly so flush that I can afford to waste time on it. Oh my god, stop smiling like that. Yes, you found a teacher's missing key card. No, you're not Sherlock Holmes. Or whoever his lawyer was. Oh, I'm sure. You're gonna be the most popular kid in school overnight now. Well, I wasn't being that sarcastic. You better hope it is somewhat true. Deadline for your club sign-up period is next week, isn't it? Actually, you'll need to find 4 members. I'm gonna be out that day. Family thing. What a face. You show everyone puppy dog eyes that pathetic? Look, if you're gonna be a lawyer, you'll need to get better at reading fine print. See, you need 5 members to found a club, but if you have at least 2 students present at the qualification time, you can get an extension. I mean, even you can get 1 person to join, right? Just use that winning personality of yours. It's a family thing. Can't say no. Nothing. I didn't say anything. "11:31 a.m., August 16th, 2086. State Building. Floor 48. Alright, so this is the court. So we're gonna cut it there because of my aforementioned feeling not so sick. That is load. I want to save. Apologize for cutting it even shorter than usual, but I just don't feel so hot. I will see you all later. I hope you enjoyed the stream, because I always enjoy reading everything this game puts in front of me. It's fine. Stay well. I will. You too. Thanks for the follow, Big Hubrissa Plus. Hubrissa Plus? Hubris A+? Whatever it is. I'll see you on Sunday. We're gonna keep playing... whatever I keep playing on Sunday. Oh, Pentiment. Yeah. Got it in the end. Oh, it's Big Hubris A+? Okay, yeah, nice. That's a pretty good one. Anyway, I'll see you on Sunday. I'm gonna be playing more Pentiment. So I hope to see you then. Bye-bye.